Now then, it's Burnsy, and welcome to our regular Curiosity podcast, the CuriosityCast. Every episode, we take questions asked by the members of the public in Hull and try to get them the best answers from the very best brains in the city. Not all questions are about Hull, they can be about whatever you want to discover. For this episode, we have a member of a theatrical dynasty forged in Hull, but known throughout the world. Liz Godber is a producer, writer, director for the John Godber Company, which handle both her dad John's hugely popular back catalogue and his new stuff, but also the increasing number of new plays written and staged by the whole of the Godber clan even. John's latest, Black Tie Ball, arrives at Hull Truck next week after already playing in Stoke and Bolton, and before moving on to places like Scarborough and Pocklington. And Liz's new play, Wolf Country, is on at the East Riding Theatre in a couple of weeks. As well as all this, there are various other productions touring the country, so we'd best get the lowdown on all this Godberian activity straight from the horse's mouth. Godberian activity. It sounds posh, that. Welcome to the CuriosityCast, Liz. It all sounds very busy. Tell us about Wolf Country. We'll start with that.
Yeah, sure. I was thinking Godberian sounds terrifying.
It does sound like a dynasty, though, the Godberian dynasty.
Well, I'll tell you about Wolf Country a little bit, which I'm hoping is very different to my dad's work. I do try and write things that are different, but there's probably a lot of similarities. There's probably things that have gone into my brain subconsciously that are there. The show is at the East Riding Theatre, and it's about three friends who live in Beverley who are taken up with the legend of Old Stinker, which is a werewolf legend from Hull and East Yorkshire. Back in 2014, 2015, there was a werewolf sighting going on around Beverley, which is true. Alice Cooper got involved in it and kind of did some posts on Facebook about a werewolf in Hull.
The Alice Cooper, not Alice Cooper that lives in Gypsyville.
Alice Cooper, musician Alice Cooper. There was a whole werewolf hunt in Beverley, and I read about this. The play is not about that, but it is inspired by that, and it also uses the idea of werewolves and kind of the darkness in ourselves and what drives fear and how we kind of deal with mental health. So it's kind of got the metaphor of that, but it is also based on this true story, and it's very funny. Hopefully, I say it's very funny. We'll find out when people come and see it.
Have you had a run through yet, or what stage are you at?
We're starting rehearsals on Monday.
Right.
But we have had a read through already, and people enjoyed it. So
isn't there one called Stinkfoot, or is that a different thing, or is it just another name for the same one?
I think it might be another name. I mean, there'll be someone who's a werewolf expert compared to me who will be able to tell you exactly what. But that was the ideas that inspired. Where Hull is the only Hull in East Yorkshire, the only place in the UK that has a werewolf legend. Werewolf legends are more common in kind of Germany or
Eastern
Europe or in America where there are wolves. But East Yorkshire was the last place to have native wolves in the UK, so maybe that's why.
And is there substance to this, or did some bloke who was a bit bored, I would assume it would be a bloke, and it's wrong of me, but who was a bit bored, think, I'll make up a werewolf legend in Beverley?
I think it's been there since the 1950s.
Right.
There's been numerous sightings. I think it's down Beverley Beck.
Right.
Which I've walked down. I haven't seen one myself, but there's been quite a fair few sightings. They didn't find anything on the hunt though. But that the legend is quite old.
Right.
So,
because when you first mentioned it, I'm thinking you're going to go back into the misty 1800s or 1700s and stuff like that. 2015?
2015, I believe. Yeah, 2014 into 2015. It was that autumn, winter.
All right. It would have fitted in with the Godberian dynasty, wouldn't it? The sort of mist and, you know. Were you always, sorry, this is a stupid question, but I've started.
Start early.
Given that you are a member of the Godberian dynasty, but were you always going to be a member of the Godberian dynasty in terms, I've got to stop saying that, in terms of going into the theatre and everything like that?
No, that wasn't my initial plan. I know my mum and dad definitely didn't want me to go into the theatre. My dad always says he wanted me to be a doctor or something sensible. But I think probably growing up, going to Hull Truck a lot. There's a photo of me as a baby, sat with my mum in my mum's arms, sat in the audience at Hull Truck. I just grew up with it, and it was always so exciting and always so fun that I think even if my parents didn't want me to, and I was kind of very much pursuing other things. I studied English at university. So I still had an interest in writing and things, but maybe not theatre as much. And then as I've just got older, it's just kind of been, that was probably always going to be the case, because it's just been something I've seen since childhood and I've loved it.
And it feels natural, and you feel in control of it and everything. I've got this. I'm bang on this.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of what I know. I kind of liken it often to people who have grown up in other family businesses. It's a really similar thing. If you've grown up and your parents run a shop, then you know how the shop works. If your parents run a butcher's, you know how the butcher's works. You just grow up and you learn it because it's just around you all the time. And I think the same has happened to me. It just so happens that what we sell, if you like, is theatre as opposed to stuff in a butcher's.
And there's four of you. There's your mum and dad.
Yes.
John and Jane. And there's you and your sister Martha, yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm having visions this morning. I've now got a vision of open all hours in the corner shop and Godber and daughters. It's that sort of thing. I better concentrate on what I'm doing.
Well,
too many visions.
Liz was saying before you got here, they all lived together during lockdown.
Yeah,
in one big happy family, like a sitcom.
Well, you did stuff, didn't you? You did stuff.
Yeah, we were able to.
You were creative.
Because we were all living together, we were allowed to perform theatre in a bubble, because you're only allowed to perform. So we performed at the end of 2020 into 2021. I stage managed, because that was kind of an old hat I used to wear. My mum, dad and sister performed, because we were one of the few kind of groups that lived together and could perform together. So yeah, we were really lucky that we were able to do that, but it was a bit of a crazy time.
So you've done the stage managing. So you've gone through all the stuff in the theatre, have you, to get yourself a grounding?
Yeah, I think so. I love to write, and now I produce, which is my main job alongside writing. But I was a stage manager for about 5 years, mainly for my parents, but other bits and pieces. And I really enjoyed that, and I learned a lot about theatre. I think if you want to learn about theatre and how it works, be a stage manager, because you're not going to, as an actor, you just kind of show up and you perform it. Stage manager, you see everything and you learn how everything works. So that was a really amazing education for me in theatre for sure, but it wasn't my passion. Right. I had to learn that, I had to do it. I enjoyed doing it, but I don't miss it so much now. I'm kind of happier writing and producing.
Question into the Curiosity Cast. Liz Godber is our guest today. Sarah in HU11 Bilton says, is it weird working with your parents?
Again, no for me, because I've always done it.
Right.
Maybe for some people, but like I say, it's just, I guess, the same as working in any family business. The only thing I would say is that it never stops. We can go out for a family dinner and my dad's like, oh, I've got a really good idea for a play. And we're like, oh, well, now we've got to talk about work stuff. But yeah, it just seems it's what I've grown up in. I grew up with, I have memories when I was really little, before kind of big internet stuff. My dad would be bringing home CVs of actors and photos as he was doing castings, or I'd be taken in as a kid to rehearsals because I was just taken into work with my mum and dad. So those were just part of my life from being 3 or 4. So it just feels, if it would now, to me, I think not working with my mum and dad would feel a bit odd.
Could you do it, Dave?
Sorry, I'd have to dig them up, Dave.
Well, yeah, but if I'd have had to work with my mum and dad, half of us would be dead and half would be in prison. We'd have killed each other, I'm sure.
The Dave Lee family documentary. I can see it now.
There's not a chance.
I don't. Maybe. I don't think we were a talented family to work
together. It could be a family trade.
Yeah,
you could have all grown up as carpenters or something.
I doubt it. None of us had any noticeable skills. but anyway, anyway, this. How much trust do you think people employ when buying a ticket for a show with a Godber name on it, says Helen in HU10 Willoughby?
I'm hoping people think they're going to have a good time. I hope we've kind of, I say we as my family, but also my dad, as much working much more than I've been alive, has built a reputation that people know that they're going to have a good time, they're going to enjoy his shows, and Obviously, there's all the classic shows that people know really well, like Bouncers. Some people have seen it loads and loads of times. Actually, they've just been doing Do I Love You, which is his Northern Soul show, and some people, I think someone emailed in, they'd seen it 12 times, and it's we were just like, that's crazy. Some people really just come back again and again. But I'm hoping because of those shows, people come and see new stuff, and they go, oh no, I know that that's going to be a good time. And we also try and keep prices relatively affordable where possible. You know, we've got to pay for the shows, and the theatres have got to pay to stay open, but we try to keep the prices as low as we can so that people can also feel like they're getting their money's worth or more than the money's worth from a show. Which
is difficult because ticket prices for shows are going a bit bonkers, aren't they? See bands and stuff like that.
When Truck moved from the old building to the new building, I did a video for talking about the old building and about where Truck was at that point. And we interviewed one of the stage managers. I can't remember her name. It was out at Harrogate Theatre. And she was saying when they book the tours, people turn up at the box office in Southend or wherever, and they say, can I have 2 tickets for Hull Truck? They never say the name of the play. They always say, can I have 2 tickets for Hull Truck? And I would imagine it's the same thing with Godber. You know, it'll be the latest, I'll go see the latest Godber, not necessarily the name of the play, which is great brand awareness, isn't it, in terms of selling tickets?
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. Although I think sometimes people think that you can just sort of magic a play up a little bit. We sometimes get like messages on social media or like an email like, oh hi, when's Bouncers on? So well, we're not doing Bouncers this year. We can't just like magic Bouncers on. Like it takes quite a lot of pre-production and planning. I think sometimes people don't realise it can take months and months to get a play on rather than oh no, we'll just put it on for a night. Like it doesn't work that way. But no, I do think definitely we're really lucky because people come back again and again to see shows, and I'm really lucky that people have come to see my shows that I've done and kind of trusted us that no, we're not going to put something on. And my parents would definitely say this to me: we would never put a play on by me or by anyone if it wasn't a level of quality that we trusted it to be on the same level as my dad's work. Like we really want to make sure that we're giving people really good shows that they can have a really good time and it's good quality, rather than just be like, oh, we'll put Liz's show on to just try it out. That's not our style at all.
Have they ever said to you then, it's not good enough, Liz?
Oh yeah.
Have they?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
For sure.
That's why I couldn't work with my parents.
No,
you know,
because you think it's good enough.
Well, that's where the fights would start instantly.
But I'd prefer that to be. I'd rather them tell me than it be on in public and people tell me. And also, I think when you've done something with Wolf Country, where I know it's really good and I'm really excited about it, then you kind of can have that pride in that. I know I did work really hard to do this, and this is a good one. This is not like it's taken a few to get here, and that, I don't know, it just makes me feel more proud and feels like I've earned it more, I think.
Liz Godber is our guest on this edition of the Curiosity Cast. We will talk more about Wolf Country and where and when you can see it. You can tell us now. And we'll mention it again at the end.
Yeah, it's on at the East Riding Theatre, which is an absolutely beautiful theatre.
It's fantastic.
I feel like sometimes people haven't been, and it's just so easy to get to, and it's an absolutely beautiful old church. And it's on from the 28th of October to the 1st November, so it's just on for a week over Halloween. But hopefully, if you like werewolves, plays and Halloween, it's a perfect fit.
Just going back, we touched on Do I Love You? I feel for Harriet. Harriet probably needs to get herself a bit more organised. Is Do I Love You coming back? I keep missing it.
I'm not at liberty to say on that. I'm embargoed on that.
At the Godberian Dynasty HQ, I'm thinking Castle now. Is there a wall chart where it's all sort of planned out and we'll bring Bouncers back, but in 2 years' time or stuff? Is there that sort of planning?
We do have a big wall chart. We do.
You have a cunning plan.
I'm a big stationery fan. I love a good pen and stickers and wall calendar and all of that, which I think,
the right kind of Post-it note.
Yeah, just a nice Post-it note. I'm a big fan of that. I don't know if my dad's like, what are you doing on the wall? I'm like, no, we need this. We need to be. But yeah, we are. I was actually saying we're organised up until At the moment, autumn 2027 . So yeah,
That's
but a lot of
organised.
That is
theatres.
organised. That's a big wall.
That's a
huge wall.
Well, it's a castle for the Godberian
Oh,
dynasty.
very small post-it notes.
I was going to say, it is quite, the stickers are quite small. But a lot of theatres book really far in advance now,
Yeah.
especially with a lot of like places touring like celebrity names and things like that, or a lot of like music acts and stuff now, they book really, really far in advance. So in order to be able to book ourselves, we have to be able to do that as well. We have to book ahead. It's just kind of everyone's chasing each other a little bit.
And so, have you got plays currently sat written that won't go on for 2 years?
Yes and no, in that I try and make my dad do that, but he doesn't believe in doing that. He likes to trust the writing process, and he just writes until he starts rehearsal.
So he's got
he's always been like that.
He's got titles and brief outlines.
He's got titles and outlines, yeah.
And do you get together then as a family and a production company and have sort of formal creative meetings or informal creative meetings? I don't know, you said your dad in a restaurant might say, let's do this, and I've got this idea. What goes on? What's the process?
Yeah, we have because we have staff that are not just the family as well. We have production managers and production assistants and stage managers and designers. So we have other people that we employ, and we have like a couple of other full-time people and marketing. So yeah, we have to have meetings, of course, to talk about all of the different projects that are going on, which sometimes feels a bit like a juggling act. But it's also exciting. And we also run a foundation for young people from Hull and East Yorkshire. So we also have to have meetings about that. And yeah, it's kind of a lot of moving parts, but often they all come together, hopefully.
Tell us more about the foundation. Is it producing writers, actors, or people working in the theatre? Is it working as a concept?
Yeah, so it's called the Godber Theatre Foundation. It's actually run by my sister Martha. It was her kind of passion, really, to set something up to support young people coming out of drama school from Hull and East Yorkshire, because a lot of people who come out of drama schools, people who've been to London, people who are from privileged backgrounds, and my sister, even though we are from a theatre dynasty, as you've said, it's still really, really hard to get a foot into, like, on the ladder in acting. And in theatre, it's really difficult, even if you've been to drama school. So she set up this foundation to support people who were graduating and kind of through drama school, helping them financially with things like headshots or voice reels and things like that, but also professional opportunities, Q&As. She's just done a Q&A with Jack Malone, who won the Tony for musical theatre. So she's getting really great people to talk to the foundation members. We take up to 10 each year. At the moment, I think we've got about 15.
It's quite a lot.
Yes, we've got, but they're not predominantly actors, not all actors, some stage managers. Actually, our production assistant, Amy, who works for the John Godber Company, came through the foundation as a stage manager, and now she works for us as a production assistant. She's great. Alicia, who works for us in outreach, came through the foundation. So we're trying to offer professional jobs, and this year we've also employed 11 people as actors, stage managers, designers, predominantly in first jobs as well. So it's giving people that kind of foot on the ladder, because getting that first job as an actor is really important. Because if you're, I don't know, the RSC, and you're looking and go, oh, they've got no credits, they've not worked, then you're probably not going to see them. Whereas, oh, actually they did some work. Oh, they've been on a whole truck. Oh, they worked for the John Godber Company. Oh, we might give them an audition. And it just makes a massive difference. And we've seen that make a difference, actually. One of our members, Prince, he was in Slave Play on the West End with Kit Harington last year. So others have been in soaps, others have toured nationally. So yeah, we're really seeing the impact. And at the moment, Black Tie Ball has got Jade Farnell in. She is one of our foundation members, and this is her first time ever touring.
Seeing you've mentioned it, Black Tie Ball is your dad's new play happening at Hull Truck. Give us a brief synopsis. Synopsis.
It is his new play, although it's based on an old play.
Right.
So he was going to launch his play, which is called Black Tie and Tales, which I think he did he keeps saying it wasn't that long ago, but I actually think it was about 2004. He went back to look at it, and he was like, actually, do you know what? I'm just going to rewrite something. But so he's been inspired by that play, but it's a wholly new play. So if you saw that play, it won't be the same at all. But he was inspired by it. And it's a kind of bouncers, shakers style show, but it's also in a luxury hotel. It is a luxury hotel somewhere in East Yorkshire that does not exist, but you may recognise some of the references. And it is basically the night from hell for these staff members. There is a black tie ball on, there's a prom on, there's a wedding on, there's someone's crashed something through the front window. They're all temporary staff, so they don't know what they're doing.
And there's a werewolf on the loose.
Well, there could have been, very nearly.
Up the road in Beverley.
Very nearly. So it's the night from hell, and they play all the different parts, and they also play all the staff. And it's very funny. But it's a bit political as well.
Okay, and it's running at Hull Truck from when to when?
It's running at Hull Truck next week, so from the 13th.
Right.
I believe.
Okay.
Oh, no, 14th.
I wrote it down somewhere. I should have that.
It's not running against you then?
It's not running against me,
okay.
no.
No, family competition's a good thing, but it's only at Monopoly or Scrabble, I think. Have you got an ambition or a goal or anything like that? That's come from me. I just think it's interesting. You obviously got this body of work. You're doing it, but is there somewhere you're aiming? Are you driven by something?
I don't know. Massively for me is I really enjoy doing what we do. I feel like I have the most amazing job that I get to work with my family, which, okay, some people might say that's a nightmare, but for me, I'm really lucky to be able to do that. I get to live where I've grown up all my life. I have a full-time job in theatre, and I haven't had to live in London or Manchester. I get to live in East Yorkshire.
You didn't fancy it?
It's not
the bright lights?
No, I think I'm a East Yorkshire girl through and through, and I think I'll stay here. So, I'm just that's what I am. I went to Hull Uni. Like, I want to stay here, and I want to make theatre here and about here. Like, I want to write Wolf Country about the life of people in their late 20s in Beverley, because I am in my late 20s and I live in Beverley, and I want to see plays about my life. I don't want to see plays about people who live in London, because that's not where I live. So as long as I can keep doing the things that I love doing, creating theatre that people really respond to, being able to do things like the Foundation where we can support emerging talent and just kind of growing theatre. I mean, I know that our groups like Middle Child and Hull Shrug, we have great theatre in Hull. It is a great scene for theatre, great scene for art. I was at the Harry, the Hull Artist Research Initiative, like last week for an art opening. It was like an amazing response, amazing group of people there, like a brilliant art. Like, I just want to be continuing to be able to be part of that and creating that, I think. And if I can get up every day, and that's not to say that it's not a hard job, because some days it's stressful, and producing theatre sounds very fun, but some days it can be very stressful, and there's a lot to do, and it sometimes feels like I can't switch off because I'm working all the time. But I think as long as I can keep doing and being creative and having that job, that's amazing.
Is there any plans for a permanent base? Middlechild's just moved into the fruit market, or they're moving into the fruit market. Is there not? Wouldn't it be nice to have like a gig pub somewhere or something that you can start plays off in? Yeah,
I think it would be really cool to have. I think we've been lucky that we have a lot of good relationships with all different theatres, and we've just opened Black Tie Ball in Harrogate. It's nice and we've opened stuff in Manchester before. This summer we had the Highwaymen at Shakespeare North, which is over in Liverpool. Still very northern based, but I think it's quite exciting sometimes to be able to work with different theatres and see how that different stuff works. I quite like that. I find that quite fun and exciting. I kind of don't want the stress of running the venue.
And I guess also you're not reliant on the same audience over and over again, are you? You can change the audience every time.
And not having a venue to run means that we can focus primarily. I mean, like, I think what Middle Child's doing amazing. Like, I'll definitely be down on Humber Street. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. I think it's great that we're getting more studio spaces in Hull, because I think it's just, going to be really brilliant. But I think for me, I'd kind of rather focus on the artistic side than the venue side. That's just probably where my skill set perhaps lies. Or I'd just get really wrapped up in the venue side, and then I'd forget. I'd be like, oh, we need to put the plays on. I forgot. I've been doing too much venue
Picking the beer and complaining about the sausage rolls,
Quick question from Alan on Vicky Dock in Hull. When so many shows these days seem to be jukebox musicals, what's the key to creating popular original touring theatre production?
It's a great question.
It's a good question. It's a hard question because I don't know if I've got the answer to it. I think we try and create work that we think is good, that I would want to go see, that my dad would want to go see, and hope that other people also want to see that. Do I Love You did incredibly well. I think it tapped into a lot of people's love for Northern Soul, but I think it also was a show about ambition, a show about the underdog, a show that made you feel good, and I think and people connected to that story, I think, as well. I think having original ideas, but ideas that people can relate to, kind of what I was saying already about, like, Black Tie Bowl is set in East Yorkshire, and all the references are like, oh, have you been down to Gilberdyke? Oh, have you been to that place in Brough? Oh, it's all places that you go, oh, no, I've been there, I know that. I think that makes a big difference to people as well. But saying that, the show's done really well in Harrogate, where they might not get the references. I think it's just, you've got to create work that you think, oh, I'd like to see that, and hope that other people are the same as you. I
think you're doing it with great success. Let's sort of finish with Wolf Country. Remind us when and where it's on, and we've not really talked about who's in it. So give us a couple of names.
Wolf Country is on at the East Riding Theatre, 28th of October to the 1st of November, and it's got 3 great local actors: Joe Patmore from Beverley, Nell Baker from Beverley, and also Tom Gallagher from Hull. So it's all local people, which is so great. And Tom was in Perfect Pitch at Hull Truck last year, and he was absolutely brilliant in that, so I'm sure he's going to be great.
What's it like for you? Do you choose the actors, I take it?
Yes, I choose the actors on a panel of people. It's not just me pointing at people.
What's that like? Is there pressure in doing that? Or is it fairly simple?
I think people think that auditioning is probably quite fun. It's really not fun at all. It's really quite stressful, and it's a really long day of talking to people, and you want to give everyone the same energy and everyone the same amount of time. And when you've seen 20 people and you've given them all that energy, you're absolutely exhausted. But it's weird. Sometimes people just come in and you go, oh, it's you, obviously. And I always say to actors, it does not mean you're bad. If you don't get the job, it doesn't mean you're a bad actor, because if you're in the room, you're probably a good actor. It just simply means that it was like a puzzle piece, and someone just slotted in, and it can be actually sometimes a little bit, it doesn't have a reason. It just is like, oh, they fit really well for this part. I can see them as that. Yeah, it doesn't kind of link to someone being good, bad, or the other, really. It's a bit of an odd thing.
Must be awful, though. For every one you say yes to, you must say no to, I don't know, 20, 50, loads.
Yeah, and I know that because my sister's an actress, so we really try and focus on letting actors know as well when they don't get the role, because I've got a lot of my best friends are actors, my sister's an actor, my mum's been an actress, so we make sure we always let people know if they didn't get the job, because I just think this idea of sitting and waiting is just horrible. And it's really hard. I think only 1% of actors are ever working, which is really quite depressing. There's so many,
When we auditioned for this podcast, I knew Burnsy would be right, but I said no to about 40 old ball blokes, you know. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
There's so little opportunity for old ball blokes these days.
It's true, actually. It's very, very true.
Become a stage manager. They're gagging from it. Liz's place.
I've not. Are they?
Do you know there is a I think everywhere at Hull Truck, at East Riding Theatre, I think all over the country. Stage managers, there's not loads of them. So if you want to get into theatre,
I don't think
stage managers.
Organisational skills. No, you did have until you admitted not starting your phone.
You true. I once took 750 people on a listeners' trip to Rotterdam and organised the whole thing, or somewhere on the continent. That's a level of organisational skills.
That's on-the-job training, I would call that.
Only one died. Anyway, it's a story for another day. Liz, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. Just remind us, it's happening at the wonderful East Riding Theatre. Your dad's on with Black Tie Ball at Hull Truck from 14th to the 18th of October, but Wolf Country at the East Riding Theatre is
28th of October to the 1st November, Halloween time.
All the best with the run. So that's it for this episode of the Curiosity Cast. Our thanks to Liz Godber, and remember to keep in touch with us via curiosityhull.co.uk or follow and friend us on the socials. We're Curiosity Hull on all the main feeds. We'll be back very soon with more quality answers to whatever question you'd like to ask.